Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Between a Pot and a Hard Place. I am Jordan Kent.
And I am Jonathan Kent.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one by Corey. I mean, he messaged me a few days ago, whenever he sent this to me. He was like, okay, you're not women. Because there was a lot of encouragement for him to make us women. So
I'm personally so thankful that we didn't end up as, like Iris West Allen and Bitsie Tulloch.
The funny thing though is if you look, we look a lot more like those characters that I thought we would. Like, it's fitting. If I were Jonathan and you were Jordan, it would have been weird. But like the fact that I don't know, it seems fitting. Like, we look like we would be maybe older versions of them.
I agree. I hope they don't get depressed by that knowledge. But I think that Corey made a pretty smart choice as far as whose face he put on whose body.
So, exactly.
I love it. I think it's cool. Before we get started, I think it's one of those things we take for granted, that intro theme music we have to every episode. I find that whenever we put on our icon and play our theme music, I find myself still kind of bop into the groove.
Yeah.
I'm like, I hope nobody ever catches me doing that, but still,
it's fun.
I do it every single time.
The great Scott Schiaffo, who made that music, put out an album of all mostly instrumental. I think they're all instrumental tracks, with the main focus of okay, you buy this CD, and he was on our show last year talking about this. He was saying, the whole idea is you buy this CD, you have usage rights to these songs. And I felt bad at first. I was like, oh, and I sent him a version of this theme song. And a lot of it, I cut it together from, the existing track. I took pieces from here, kind of mashed them together. And I felt bad. I was like, I feel like I'm butchering your work, your art. I feel like I'm tainting it somehow. And he's like, no. That's that was the reason he made it. So people could take that and blend it into whatever they needed.
That's really cool. You see very few people that have that kind of, open generosity. Everybody seems really guarded about, it's my material and I'm not going to share it. So,
yeah,
he was a pretty awesome dude to talk to, and clearly, that shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting a lot of those people back on the show, and hopefully maybe additional people on the show from those movies, because they have Clerks 3 that just wrapped up not too long ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so Clerks 3 will be out this year, but they're saying maybe, from what I'm hearing, around July or so. So we'll see.
All right.
It'd be great if I got to come out to LA and we could go we could go to the Hollywood premiere. They would invite us.
Now that would be awesome.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome. I feel like before we get too far into our episode, we just want to remind you guys, if you're watching and you haven't already subscribed here to our podcast, Between a Pod and a Hard Place, take just a second, go and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and share that with your friends if you're feeling generous. And again, we love all the comments and the likes, so make sure you guys are commenting so we can go ahead and share it here during the show.
Yeah, and you can check out below here, ticking always, our Facebook and Twitters and stuff like that. So check it out.
So is it weird to you?
Corey is subscribed.
Yay. Thank you, Corey.
Yeah.
A healthier Kirk. So is it kind of weird? I know we recorded on Friday, and now we're already back here again, recording again Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little weird, because I feel like, am I getting ready for a pod? We just did this, didn't we? Like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, we're doubling up this week. Well, sort of. We did one and then did it. Yeah, it's the same week. But yeah, it's a little weird. But I don't know. It's fun. Like, imagine doing this 5 nights a week, like being like a regular YouTube person. Like, you see some of these YouTube channels who have videos like all the time, weekly, daily, and all this stuff. It's like, wow. I don't know if I can keep up with that.
I mean, I guess if that were my regular job 24/7, then that would make sense. I could put that kind of effort into it. I don't know as if I could do my full-time job and then come and do this as a job.
Hey, how's it going?
All right. Good to see you, Clemente.
Yeah, I think if this was like a regular job and this was like a career or whatever, then yeah, I guess I could do this every day and twice on Sundays.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it could be cool. I think a lot of those people though, they record probably for like 10 hours a day and then just cut together like weekly or daily episodes out of that. Maybe kind of like game shows where they'd film like maybe 5 episodes of Jeopardy at once and then
Right.
cut it together.
Man, I don't know if I could handle though doing, 5 of these episodes back to back.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I think we do great that we're able to have a really focused discussion about pop culture and stuff for an hour and a half. But
yeah, and we like to throw in stuff every now and then that aren't related to the same shows. Like, and I haven't opened this yet. I started doing like these unboxing videos on our YouTube channel when I buy toys, but then I forget to finish them, or I forget. I did a part 1 the other day, and I was like, later today I'll live stream part 2, and I totally forgot to do it, and that was like over a week ago. So I still need to go through and review. But I bought this tonight. On my way home, I stopped at Target, and I've been looking at this for quite a while. It's Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh, nice.
For some of you that remember who that is.
That's from way, way back.
This is a newer figure. They like to go out and do these legend figures sometimes. And I've been looking at this one for a while. It's been available for quite some time. I've always found it. Stupid glare. I've always seen it in the store. It comes with a little snake and his little snake bag and some extra hands and all that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Go.
I mean, there was one. I wanted the other one more, and it was the same figure, but with people out there that maybe collect figures will know that every now and then they'll have like a variant of the same figure that's more rare. This one has blue pants, and the variant had a gray pants, the same color as the bag, the same shade. And I saw about 2 or 3 of the gray ones and like a bunch of blue ones in the same day ones. I'm like, oh, they have plenty. I'll get it later. Never saw the gray one again.
Oh, gosh.
Never again. They're all blue, which is cool, but I really wanted the gray one. But I should have grabbed it when I had the chance.
Yep, you should have listened to your gut.
Yeah. My gut tells me to buy a lot of toys, and I end up buying them. I've been buying more Transformers lately. Gosh, so many. I need to build a table or something over here so I can keep them all. Like, look at this. Look at this. But yeah, there's so many. And I just can't. I actually went out and bought, not too long ago, a week or 2 ago. I'm just going to show one of them because I've got these guys right here. This is a more modern wrestler. He actually passed away like about a year or so ago. So his action figure was pretty sought after. I mean, he wasn't a major star or anything, but it was still, he's pretty well known. And this line of figures, there's like 5 in the line. And I went to a Target and they had all 5 at once on the shelf. And I bought them all at once. And now I can't fit him back in here. I have a little wrestling ring with all these guys crammed in it. But yeah, that's the kind of thing I like to do.
Yeah.
And coming up soon here, they have the Asheville Comic-Con, which is a small con, but it's coming back around on May 21st. So I plan to do something for the show's YouTube channel during that, whether that's going on a live stream and walking around, or just, getting footage of different things. I do plan on interviewing Boba Fett if he's there.
Okay.
If they'll agree to an interview. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all of my news, I guess, like what I've been doing. Been watching a lot of Marvel movies lately too.
Which one are you on right now?
Oh gosh, I got all the way up to where am I? Oh my gosh, it's before Civil War, because I kind of paused after a certain movie and I was like, okay, I need to figure out when to watch Spider-Man Homecoming. I believe it's right after Civil War as far as the continuity goes. But of course, those aren't on Disney Plus, the Spider-Man movies. So I'll have to go, and I have some of them somewhere. I'll have to go dig through and find all the DVDs and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm on. I watched Winter Soldier, and then I watched Age of Ultron. I think Age of Ultron was the last one that I watched.
Okay. So
coming up after that, I'm trying to remember what's after that one as far as the continuity order, because I love how Disney Plus has those categorized that way. They have phase 1, 2, 3 all in their own little groups, but then they have timeline order, starting with Iron Man and ending with Hawkeye. So I love that. I mean, they did leave out Hulk, No, I don't know if Hulk was a Marvel thing or if it was like some other studio. But for some reason, unless I just missed it, Hulk isn't in the list. Now I knew Spider-Man wasn't, but I don't know. I don't know about Hulk. But
Well, remember that our version of Bruce Banner never got his own standalone movie, right? There was the Eric Bana version, and then there was the Edward Norton version.
Yeah.
But neither of them are in our continuity as far as I know.
See, I'd always assumed that the Ed Norton Hulk was the Mark Ruffalo Hulk, but they just recast. That's what I thought. Now, I could be wrong, but I just had that impression for some reason. Now, unless when they recast him, they said, oh, just forget that. We're going to erase it. But maybe that was the case. Maybe that's why it's not included. But still, it'd be nice to have that movie in there. He's like one of the only ones. And this was the first time I had seen all the Thor movies.
Okay.
I haven't gotten to the newest, to the last one, Ragnarok. I haven't seen that one yet because that's later on. No,
you have never seen Ragnarok?
Before I started watching these on Disney Plus recently, I had never seen any solo Thor movie at all.
Really? Wow.
And I don't know why. I like the Thor character, but I guess I'm more interested in like the characters that are here in New York or in LA or like in current time and not in some like I don't want to watch Asgard for 2 hours, you know. I like those stuff. But then when I watched the movies, I was like, okay, a majority of these movies do take place here on Earth. So, and I like the back and forth kind of stuff where you see some Asgard stuff, then you see some Earth stuff, and it's like, okay. And then when I watched the Thor movies in that continuity in order, it really brings it all together. And you really understand why it's important to watch these movies.
Right.
I did skip over Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 because I had watched those both recently, like within the last couple of months. So I didn't really feel the need to watch those again because it was more fresh. But
right. I mean, you realize that Thor is really the bridge between the Avengers on Earth and the Guardians of the Galaxy in space. I mean, he really does kind of connect those two universes.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like he's definitely one of those you have to watch. That said, I don't like all of his movies. I like the first one where he's introduced, and then I like Ragnarok. I did not care for The Dark World.
I liked it. Okay, I thought it was decent. I mean, I could see why people think it was a little bit different, but I don't know. I still liked it for some reason. And that was the one I think where he came back to Earth. And then Jane gets all pissed off at him, like, why didn't you call me? And all that stuff. And then, okay. So, that one was okay. But it kind of had the how We Are the Flash vibe in a sense. Like, it's like, oh, Jane, I missed you. I'm so sorry. I could not come back. I lost my car keys. And it basically is what happened. I could see why people didn't like it as much. I mean, I definitely liked the first one better. I didn't dislike the second one. But I really wanted to watch all these movies because they stream in 4K on Disney Plus. And when I got Disney TV, I was like, oh my gosh. And I don't know. They look the same, but they look better. It's different. Like I get lost in them.
No, I think it's great. When we were waiting for Avengers Endgame, we did the same thing. We went through the entirety of all of the MCU movies. Mm-hmm. And I think what really is impressed upon me in doing that is just the realization about how much planning the MCU has put into each and every movie. I mean, I think anybody can make one good standalone film, but to have an overarching theme and a goal to tell a cohesive story and each piece kind of playing its part.
And Clemente points out, like the MCU has got to be closing in on about 100 hours of viewing total time.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, because each movie is a minimum of 2 hours.
Right.
I think one of the Thors was like 1 hour and 56 or something like that. But yeah, like 2 hours, and there's 10 years of maybe not 10 years, but is it 10 years? That was more than 10 years. It was going back to 2008, I think, with the first Iron Man.
I mean, I guess I wonder if he's including in there WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
I wouldn't.
Loki. I would too. I think they're all in the same, continuity.
And of course, we heard the news recently that I think it's official that WandaVision season 2 was not going to happen. And I wasn't that bummed. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to see more, but you really don't need any more. People look at these shows as TV shows, and I look at them as episodic movies. because that's essentially what they are. They take a 2-hour story and expand it into 10 hours or more, and people are like, let's get season 2. And now they are going to do a what if season 2, but I think that's a little bit different.
Right.
With what if, that's the whole purpose. It's like, what if this happened?
Well, I think if you understand that a lot of these episodic movies, I guess that we would call them, that are focused on, Wanda and Falcon and everybody else, they're meant to sort of like fill in the gaps to kind of give us backstory.
Right.
I think that we're going to see, we already know that Wanda is going to end up playing a major role in Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, yeah.
And so I feel like that's kind of giving us like the beginning introduction to a lot of the stuff that's going to come out in that movie. So she's not going to need another season because all of those things are going to get played out in that movie.
Exactly. And I don't know why people got upset that there wasn't going to be a season 2. I never even expected there to be.
Well, I mean, I think that when season 1 goes so well, and then Agatha Harkness gets her own series. So
yeah, that really threw me off. I was like, why? But I mean, there's an audience for it. Why not? Maybe they need to have another show called Why Not and just do the craziest things, And I'll watch it definitely. I really want to watch a new series on Paramount Plus. I need to subscribe to that again. Halo, which is based on the popular video game that's been around for, I want to say close to 20 years or so, or probably longer than that. And they're finally doing like a live action cinematic type show for it. I'm excited for that. And if people that don't know what Halo is or what it's based on, it's essentially like, it's a shooter game. So it's like a first-person shooter video game, and you control the Master Chief. He's like the super soldier, sort of like Captain America with armor. Right. And this is in the future. This is like 2070 or whatever, 3000, like way futuristic. And they find these ring worlds called Halo, and it's like a world. It's a planet, but it's a big, huge ring in space. And there's aliens and alien weapons, and it's really cool. It's very sci-fi, very, very violent, but in a way doesn't seem violent because it's aliens and super soldiers. It doesn't seem like it's that bad, but I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, sometimes I don't put a lot of stock in things like Rotten Tomatoes. Right. But when I go through my Facebook feed, and I've got a lot of people that love pop culture and movies and all that kind of stuff, and when they give their reviews of this kind of stuff, I go, all right, if they like it, I know I probably will like it too. Mm-hmm. So I've heard a lot of good things about Halo.
Yeah, I mean, I love the video games. I mean, I've played Halo so many times. Have been in a couple of Halo tournaments where I got eliminated in the second round, but I still made it to the second round.
There you go.
And it's a lot of fun. And so I'm really excited to see the show. And some people are complaining the voice of the Master Chief character from the video game does not play the character in the show, but some of the other characters do. Some of the other voice actors do play those characters in the show. So it was a little weird that you get one or two, but not all of them. But I mean, it looks great from what I've seen.
I mean, it's been 20 years. Is it possible that some of them may not be alive?
I mean, it's possible. The guy that voices the main character, Master Chief, he's around.
Oh, okay.
But I think he's to the point. I think what it is one of those things where if this does really well and they want to expand on it and do more and more and more, then they want somebody that's going to be around for a while, or that somebody that's not that older people aren't appealing, but it's hard to like really sell a show with an old character, and they want to have youthfulness to these characters and stuff like that. That's the same reason I think the Buzz Lightyear movie that's coming out soon is Buzz Lightyear is being voiced by Chris Evans instead of Tim Allen, and people are like, "What? Why?" I think it's Chris Evans. I could be wrong, but I believe it is.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because the idea is, if they ever were to do a live action Toy Story or a live action Buzz Lightyear, then they wanted somebody's voice that could also play the character and visually just as well. And Chris Evans looks more like a Buzz Lightyear than present day Tim Allen. Nothing against Tim Allen, but I wouldn't buy him as a serious Space Ranger.
That said, I've got 2 words for you. Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I mean, that would work. Michael Keaton could be Buzz Lightyear.
Or just the idea that you could do a movie 30 years ago, and then end up still being cast in the same role today.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's a
don't
very good
count,
point.
you know, uh, you know, old dogs may not learn new tricks, but they still do tricks. So
I mean, I guess they'd rather have America's ass than Tim the Toolman Taylor. I don't know.
You could do worse than Chris Evans, I guess.
Yeah, okay, so here's like Galaxy Quest. Exactly. Like it would be like Galaxy Quest if they did Tim Allen as live action, but older. He would be so much older, and it would be like, and I think they're trying to make this serious. Like it's CGI, so it's more like computer animated. It's
Right.
not live action. But it's supposed to be the story of Buzz Lightyear and Star Command that the character in the movie is based off of. So
does that mean that we're eventually going to get a CGI Woody movie as a true Western?
That would be awesome to see like the classic Woody story and see his the Etch-a-Sketch movie might be kind of boring.
I know. It'd be like an episode of Maverick or something.
Something like that. But I think a Woody movie would be great. And then do a Woody and Buzz crossover. Well, that's Toy Story. But yeah, he's not a toy in this one. He's not a child's plaything. He is a space ranger.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that they're doing that. But that would be cool to see them do the same with Woody, because he did come from that Western.
I know. Part of me goes that they just won't let the character die. They're just going to keep on making movies with, characters in one way, shape, or form from Toy Story. Like the old. Did you ever watch A Land Before Time?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was like A Land Before Time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
35, 60.
Land Before Time and The Search for More Money.
Land Before Time, The Resurrection of Money.
Right.
Yeah. Land Before Time. That's too many times.
Yeah.
But yeah. The Bank Before Time as well.
Right. So I feel like we've definitely caught up on some of the gossip that's going on. Do you want to jump into Superman and Lois?
Yeah, I want to quickly, before that, I want to remind people that coming up on May 1st, live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, we will have the Flash showrunner, Erik Walsh, coming on the show. We just heard that Flash Season 9 was confirmed and renewed. So I know this is about Superman and Lois, but I think I want to remind people every week that, hey, Erik Walsh is coming in May. So
and that's huge. I mean, you think about, this is the guy who's in charge of the direction of the show, and he knows all the dirty little secrets about stuff and all the behind the scenes stories. I mean, to me, I can't wait to kind of pick his brain.
Exactly. And I don't know, but I think he actually might be the first African-American person that we've had on the show, which isn't something that I'm trying to push like, yeah, we're special, but like, I think it's cool. I want to try to get more people, more diverse, like guests and things. It's usually always the same, like, well, not the same. We've had a pretty diverse like group of guests already, but I want to get people of all shapes, sizes, colors, and regions. I want to get a Japanese guy too. Right. Let's get the guy from Hiro Nakamura.
We're gonna get Masaoka.
Yes, but as Hiro. Awesome. As Hiro, like, hello. And then that was bad. That sounded like I wasn't being. Moving on, Superman and Lois.
Right, we don't want to get ourselves in trouble here.
Yeah, we'll get thrown off YouTube. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be cursed.
So I've got to say, I know that we've talked about season 2 already, but I feel like it does really kind of bear repeating the fact that Superman and Lois season 1, I think it ranks up there along with The Flash season 1 and Arrow season 1 as some of the best seasons for superheroes that are out there. And I'm really happy to say that season 2 is maybe not exactly as good, but it's pretty darn close. I've been so happy with it so far.
I have too, and I think it's as good as The Flash season 2.
Yeah.
So it's even if it's dropping down a little bit, they didn't drop down very far from season 1. I mean, my favorite part so far, well, 2 favorite parts, of course, we saw who we thought was going to be Doomsday, ends up being Bizarro, and then Jonathan getting powers when he lied to us and said he didn't know that he was going to get powers.
Well, and again, I know we've certainly rehashed this more than once about Jonathan and his powers, but I mean, we asked him that question and he gave us the most guilty look on his face.
He was like this.
Yeah.
He did exactly that.
It was so obvious. But
and then I loved how he says, if Jonathan ever were to get powers, maybe it's from like ex-kryptonite or something. And that's exactly what
Right. Right. So he certainly did his dance. I really do have to give actors credit that they're put in a catch-22 situation where they're encouraged by, I'm sure they're encouraged by their agents and everybody to get out there and to do interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, they're under a contractual obligation to keep their mouths shut.
To not really do interviews.
Right. Well, or to be very careful about
Mm-hmm.
not giving spoilers or telling people what's going to happen. I'm sure that's why some people don't like to do interviews or only do interviews with certain people, because they don't want to end up saying something that'll end up getting themselves in trouble later on.
No, I know. I got to say, like, I think the best liar is probably Andrew Garfield. Because No Way Home, he's like, I'm not in the movie. I guarantee you, I will bet $1 million. And if you don't stop, I'm going to punch you in the face. Like, he was really selling that. And, I believed him for a minute. I was like, okay, maybe he's not. I was convinced it would have a CGI Amazing Spider-Man with no voice. He just, like, he wouldn't actually be there. But
like, you would see his backside as he swings away.
Yeah. Or they would use some stock footage from like his movie or something in this or whatever.
Right. It's almost like he was an actor or something.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
But Tom Holland sucks. He isn't, like, not in general, but like, I'm almost convinced that Tom Holland is told to like go spoil this one thing and pretend like you didn't know.
Right.
But still. But yeah, Superman and Lois has been great. It's not really gone down for me at all. There were 1 or 2 episodes, I think, in early season 2 that were like filler. Not bad, but kind of filler. Like, oh, I could have went without watching this. I mean, not that it was torture or anything, but still, it didn't really seem to add a lot to the overall picture.
There seems to be a darker tone, I think, to this season.
Yeah.
Between the breakup of Kyle and Lana's marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and Jordan and his girlfriend.
Candace, I believe her name is.
Well, no, you're thinking of Jonathan.
Jonathan, yeah, sorry.
But that too.
Jordan.
I mean, but Jordan, their relationship has been really rocky. Jonathan and his drug use. I think that there's been a lot of trouble that's been brewing, and that's not even talking about Lois and her sister and what's been going on with the inverse society.
Yeah, I mean, and Jonathan goes as far as to like, they find out, okay, if somebody's using these drugs, this XK, and then he covers for her. He takes the drugs, like, give them to me. And then he swears. And the cool thing is, like, everybody believes him when he says, like, oh, these aren't mine. But he's still, gets in a lot of trouble because he's not going to tell on his girlfriend.
I feel terrible. And on the one hand, I can totally understand the temptation that Jonathan would have to take the drugs in order to try to keep up with everybody else, right? He ever since they moved to Smallville, it's like everything that he's had has been taken away from him. And
I think what I would have done, though, is I would have like grabbed him from the locker, stuffed him in my backpack, and yelled out, "I have to poop," and then run really fast to the bathroom. And then just
"I have to poop" excuse.
I mean, it could have
every
worked
time. Right. No, I mean, I think first and foremost, what's really sad about Jonathan is he actually believes that his girlfriend loves him. You know what I mean? And I think when he realizes that she's a drug dealer and she's been manipulating him, just like the other player on the team had gotten hooked on drugs. The fact is, I know that he's going to really fall apart when he realizes that not only did he go and take the drugs to save her, but that she just has been manipulating him.
I feel like it's going to be a switch. Like, they're going to do it like that, but then by the time he realizes what she had been doing, she's going to love him. So it's going to be one of those classic flips style stories where he's like, "Oh, it's too late. You already lied to me. I don't like you anymore. Like, please." I hope they don't do it exactly like that because that seems like overly dramatic and it's just like, oh. But either way, I think you're right. I think she's like, no, I don't love him. Like even though when they're together, it seems like she's kind of nicer to him than she initially was. But they're still like, you got to help me. Like, why would he want to help her anyway? Like he barely knows her. He's only been dating her for what, like a week or whatever. Like,
Well, I mean, to us it feels like a week, but I mean, clearly they've been together here for a while.
yeah, I guess.
I think I'm shocked that that nobody. I mean, I think everybody it seems to know that she's involved with drugs, and yet nobody has come out and said,
yeah,
maybe you should talk to Jonathan's girlfriend.
yeah, I know. Like everybody has seen it. Like people buy from her directly. I guess nobody wants to tell on anybody, which okay, but like, why do they have a reason to protect? I guess because like nobody knows who's buying it, and Jonathan was the only one actually caught with any of it, so that's why they're going to him. But still, I mean, I guess I feel like if Jonathan takes the fall, then she can get more, and then all this and that. But I don't know. It is interesting, like why nobody goes to her because everybody knows. Well, not everybody, but most, like all the kids at least.
Right. I mean, the cheerleaders definitely know that she's been selling it to people on the team,
right?
And the football players have, I'm sure that they've known that some people have been taking performance enhancers to get an edge. You know, the question we haven't talked about yet, though, is where is she getting it from?
Yeah, that's sort of revealed in the episode after that, I think. Well, not really. There's like a dealer or her supplier that she ends up, which I believe, if I remember right, in the episode, this past episode, this more recent one, because he kind of comes after her, but that's kind of at the end of that episode. So I don't know if I want to go too much into that right now because we want to go through the first one, but yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember, I think I'm remembering it right. It's been a while since I watched it. I watched it on Wednesday, I think.
So I do feel, though, like Lieutenant Mitch Anderson, you find it interesting that he has like an entire case of those inhalers. They look exactly the same. And so my guess is that the drugs that are being sold on the street originally were the same drugs that the military had created in order to give soldiers superhuman powers. That's my guess.
Yeah, I would think so. And this Anderson dude, he's crazy. Like, at first he seems like, okay, I'm just trying to do my job. And then like you find out later, he's like, I don't want to say he's the bad guy, but he's one of the ones helping, you know, with the whole pendant thing and gosh, I don't even know what else to say about the guy. He's like, I like where his character's going. He's getting kind of demented and twisted, like more and more and more.
Well, he has no redeeming qualities. I mean, they've made him to be hated. But whatever it is, both Anderson and Jonathan, I feel like they both have kind of the same personality, that feeling of inadequacy. We might call it like a short man's complex. But they've got to compensate for being powerless by lusting after power. That's why in that episode where Superman gets captured and essentially imprisoned for treason, Anderson really enjoyed the reversal of finally being able to put Superman in his place.
And they're with his brother, and they're like, ha ha, you guys suck. Look at you. You can't do anything.
Yeah.
And he took every second to like really enjoy that. And then you feel like, well, how's he going to get out of this one? But in this one episode, we find out because, you know, they basically, I thought, you know, they were fighting each other, Superman and what's his name? Kal-El. Yeah. I keep forgetting. I keep wanting to call him Morgan Edge, which was his Earth name, but still. They're fighting and stuff. They're like, oh, I want to kill you. And it turns out they were just faking this fight to trick everybody and like to get out of there. And that was really cool when that happened. And then they destroyed didn't they destroy the thing that made it like the red sun rays or whatever? They destroyed that.
Well, I think we had thought that he was going to use the weapon in order to kill some of the men.
Yeah.
That he used it to turn off those red sun lights, which I think is interesting. I think we normally feel like kryptonite is the only weakness that Superman has, but apparently they've been really relying upon the red lights as well.
I think what it is the red is pretty much like some kind of harnessed red sun, which takes away his powers, but doesn't hurt him. I think that's what they were wanting to do. Like, not necessarily weaken him, but just take away his ability to do anything. So he's just a normal guy. That way, if they do need to use him or manipulate him or whatever, they can be like, okay, we didn't kill him, so now he can. So, but it's interesting that they are choosing to use that instead of kryptonite. It's like you could use just enough kryptonite to weaken him enough, and it would torture him more too. So I don't know why you wouldn't want to torture him, but like, who knows? But it is kind of cool that they're doing that.
Yeah, we definitely have seen in this that the military has made some very. I mean, they literally declared all-out war on Superman. I didn't think that would be even possible, but the idea that they would capture Superman and lock him up until he, was going to tell them where the Bizarro Superman was.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty interesting too that let's see, what was it I was looking at? I'm kind of looking over the little notes of the show here to remember the details. They go off to Talro's fortress, I guess. And then you find out that Talro on this whatever what did they call it? The I'll keep wanting to call it the mirror universe, but whatever this
the
place
Bizarro world.
Bizarro world, okay.
Yeah.
The two of them on that Earth were like really close brothers. They were like inseparable and all that. And I was like, okay, well that's interesting. But then Talro's wife tried to kill him and all that. And I was like, okay, well, that's a different look on. I like when they do that. It's like everything that you've seen from that universe has been backwards.
Right.
And that's what it's supposed to be. It's the exact opposite of what we have here.
Right. The funny thing in there is he was asking about who his wife on this alternate world was.
Yeah.
And it cut him short. However, I really believe that we're going to find out who she is. And if you want my money, I'm going to put it on the table right now.
I think Corey's watching, so I know.
I know. It's going to be Lana.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See? Like this
totally
whole psychic link thing I saw. I thought the same exact thing. It's got to be Lana.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Right.
But a weird Bizarro Lana, like,
Well, a Lana that has superpowers that can even make Talro tremble in fear. I think that certainly is going to be interesting.
Corey has a good point. He says, the inhalers don't give all of Superman's powers to everyone, but with Anderson, he has them all. I'm thinking maybe he's experimented on this stuff so much that he's found a way to like formulate it to his DNA or something to where he can tap into the certain things and be able to do whatever. But it is interesting that he's the only one that hasn't had all the powers
that we know of.
that we know of.
I think that one of the things that we had learned is that each person that used the inhaler ended up getting different blends of abilities. Some people just had gotten enhanced hearing. Some people had gotten the enhanced vision, like Jonathan did. And it did seem like the more that Jonathan used the inhaler, the more of those powers came out.
Yeah, and I think that the long-term exposure probably does bring out the rest of the powers.
All right, Steven, I think I lost you.
Oh, are we still here?
All right, I hear you now. Can you hear me?
I'm frozen again. Yeah,
you are frozen.
Oh, geez.
Well, now we're a podcast instead of just a show. But
let me see if I can fix this.
Yeah, let's just keep on going, and then we'll hopefully the picture will kind of catch up with us. So yeah, I really do feel. Number one, I know we're kind of accelerating here, but in the last episode where there was that fight where Jonathan was kind of going up against his girlfriend's, dealer, I really thought that there was going to be that moment where Jonathan was able to use his powers even without having the inhaler. And I still think that he's going to have them. One of the things that we've seen, is that Jordan has the strength. He has the speed. He's got the heat vision, but he doesn't have the durability of his father, right?
Right. Yeah.
We saw the bloody knuckles. We saw the marks on his face from when he went to go and help his brother. I still think that Jonathan is going to get powers. The vision, the flight, and the durability. I think we're going to see that, as well as the strength. I think Jonathan eventually is going to get all of that.
I think Jonathan's going to get all of it because we saw the set photos, and I think we posted it or talked about it in the Facebook group. We see him dressed up as Superboy. He's in the full thing, and it's like the shirt with the red logo and all this stuff. And I'm like,
can I make one more guess, however, about that?
Yeah.
See, I really like that. The problem is there's so much of a jump from that Superboy to where Jonathan is right now.
Yeah.
So it's a far cry to go, unless it's Jonathan in the Bizarro world.
Exactly, it could be. But wouldn't the S be backwards?
Did you look at the S though? It was kind of like it was bleeding or melting, or
kind of did look different. Like it was distorted a little bit,
or like it had been spray painted on.
Maybe he did just like rush make the shirt.
Yeah,
sort of like Spider-Man when he like made his little shirt, and he had to like cut it together and stitch it and stuff real quick.
Right, but I do feel like that's it. As much as I want our version of Jonathan to become a Superboy, I think that's what they're going to see when they go over to this Bizarro world.
I think, yeah, and I think eventually we're going to get, maybe if they go 10 seasons in the finale, we're going to see Superboy, probably. But I don't think it's going to happen in the second season. I mean, not permanently. It's either a flash forward or a time jump thing, or like you said, the Bizarro world version, something like that. I don't think it's going to be a permanent, like, this is Superboy, here we go. Not with Jonathan, at least. But yeah, you see, and Anderson ends up taking that big, the weapons and stuff, and he ends up killing Bizarro.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just like, wow, okay, they just sort of kill him out of nowhere. I'm like, whoa. But maybe not out of nowhere. And then Talro ends up getting killed too. Well, sort of. He ends up getting pretty hurt, and then Superman's like, brother. Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers gotta hug. I love Tommy Boy. But yeah, he takes his brother and flies him into the sun, basically, to heal him or whatever. So I had a feeling that they were going to be like, they're not like all lovey-dovey or well, I guess brothers aren't lovey-dovey anyway, but you know what I mean? They're not super close or anything like that. They're not playing family game night or anything like that. But I had a feeling they would get to the point where they like had love for each other at least.
I mean, they had nowhere to go but up, I think.
Right.
And I liked the moment at the end, where Superman takes Talro back to the prison cell after the fight's over with, right? Takes him back to the prison cell. He's alive. He wakes up. But there's that moment where he says, Kal-El, I'm sorry about your son.
Yeah.
Tell him I'm sorry. And Clark looks at him and he says, someday I hope you can tell him yourself.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was interesting. It was a big growth moment.
It was.
Unless he's lying and to manipulate him or something like that, which wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think it's that. I think it's legitimate, and I think he's real. It's sincere feelings. So that's cool that he's becoming more human, I guess. But in the end of that episode, I think that we're talking about, there's the whole stuff with Kyle and Lana. How like it's going to come out in this election or whatever. Am I thinking of the right episode? I think I am. Where she's trying to like he's trying to prepare her like, look, people are going to say stuff, people are going to like ask you about it and all this, and then I think it, I like to see in this weird dynamic with them to where it's like uncomfortable, but yet that there's a little tiny bit of hope, but you don't think there's much at all.
I mean, I think that there's a reason why Kyle and Lana got together. They do have chemistry, and he really understands her in a way that most people don't. Right?
Even Clark, because they grew up together, basically.
Yeah, but you know, that said, Kyle is an extreme douchebag. You know, and I hate to say it, but you know, their marriage has been on the rocks for a while.
Yeah.
You know, in season 1, wasn't he just sleeping on the couch?
Basically.
You know? So
I mean, nobody liked him. He was like the bad guy. He was the guy that's like, this is the way it should be. And like nobody else in town agreed with him until like he not manipulated, but he convinced a lot of people to support the Morgan Edge fellow. And then he kind of regretted that, but I think his alcohol abuse and all this other stuff, I think he should have told her about, that's about when he was sleeping with the other girl, I think, when he was going hard on the alcohol. But I feel like if he had told her about it back then, they would have had more time to heal, because she'd have been like, oh, you were just drunk. You didn't mean to. Well, nobody says that. But I mean, you know, it would have been easier had he come clean in the beginning. But now that they've come so far, only to fall way back down again, I think that's what hurts them the most.
Right. I mean, I think what's tough for me about Kyle is that he does have redeeming qualities about him. I mean, he is a fire chief. He is a public servant. He is in many ways a hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like Superman, he would put his job first before his family and dealt with the consequences of that. However, you know, Clark never sacrificed his family. And I think that's where we really see the difference in who they are. Kyle has really, in essence, has thrown, you know, his family away, and so they're dealing with the fallout of that.
Very good point here. I would have blamed the affair on the Kryptonian consciousness. That would have been cool. Like, it wasn't me. I swear it was him. I didn't want to do it. I woke up and found out there were pictures and everything, and I was like, oh, no way. I don't know if that would have worked, but it would have been good.
If there was an opportunity for an excuse like it wasn't me, I was under the influence of a Kryptonian consciousness, that would have been the time.
Yeah, literally possessed by a Kryptonian, and you didn't think to use that one.
But I think we all kind of knew, like, you know, that Kyle certainly had, you know, skeletons in his closet.
For sure.
The fact that they would come out, though, at the most inopportune moment while Lana's trying to run for mayor against somebody that is absolutely going to use that against her, I think that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, and then at the very end of the episode, we find out, you know, Anderson goes to Allie with this pendant, and you're like, oh no, this is that oh my god moment, kind of like what's going to happen next.
Well, and I think for me, you know, knowing that Allie Alstrom is the comic book where it's our version of Parasite, I'm just a little bit curious. I know that Parasite's supposed to be able to like suck the life force into herself.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering about how, I mean, we haven't seen her do that yet. So again, I wonder, are they playing with our expectations a little bit here, or?
Well, we know they like to trick us. So I'm thinking that they want us to think that she's going to develop into this parasite. But I think what's going to happen is her Bizarro World version of her is going to come in. And the whole idea behind this ascension is that you merge with this other thing. And in the next episode, we see them all go down into the mines and stuff like that. And a lot of them get sucked into this wall. And of course, what's the girl's name? Chrissy. And she goes down there with everybody. And then she kind of like falls behind. Looks like she's the only one that didn't go in. We even think that Lucy has gone in there. But when you see them, you know, they go into this big glowing thing, and it's like they look like they're pretty much vaporized. But do we know they're really like vaporized, or are they really teleporting through a portal into this other world? Because that's how Bizarro came into this Earth, from that. So if they go in, the idea is that they merge with their other selves and ascend. or whatever. But then they
Right.
stop it before Allie has a chance to ascend. So I'm thinking maybe that has some kind of after effect later on.
Right. This appears to be some kind of natural breach between those two worlds.
Yeah. I think that either she's now replaced by her Bizarro version, or that's going to happen at some point. I don't know that she's going to become just on her own this parasite, or they could merge and then she becomes the super Allie or whatever.
Right. Or maybe there's something along the lines of the fact that by merging, she's able to absorb those who thought they were ascending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of questions about that. That said, I hate Lucy. I think Lucy.
Yeah.
Just at that moment where I thought that I was liking her, she was giving off those cool aunt vibes and everything else. And not only is she, devoted to Allie completely and supports her behind her back, but now we find out that she's more than happy to, turn on everybody and lie and manipulate in order to protect her.
Yes, because like half the episode it felt like, or I bet maybe not half, but like maybe 20 minutes or so, they're like, oh my God, Lucy, and then Sam Lane always ends up going like, oh my God, she's dead, Lois, accept it, and we're almost ready to accept that she's dead, but then she walks into the room.
Yeah.
And you think, oh my gosh, she's come around. She's finally seen how stupid she is and how much of a jerk she is. Nope, it was all a trick. And I'm like, really? Oh my God, why? Just when you start liking this character for the second time, they turn around. They like to trick you. They really love to trick you.
No, I really do think though that these people who really believe in Allie, I think they're going to realize just how much they've been manipulated by her.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely certain about that.
Oh, I'm sure. Lucy's gonna have a breakdown, like, oh my God, and then most people probably won't believe her at first, and then something will happen where she almost dies, and then everybody's having a family picnic by the end of the season. But
no, unfortunately, I feel like she's going to learn the hard way.
Maybe
just how much she's been manipulated.
Maybe she ends up losing her own life, or maybe she sacrifices herself because of all she's done. I don't think she comes out of it okay, though. Now, whether or not that means dead or not, I don't know. But I don't think she'll come out. I was wrong on my first guess. I'm like, a happy family picnic. Like, I don't think that's going to be quite that way.
No.
Bizarro picnic, maybe. And I did get that mixed up a minute ago. I was talking about Kyle talking with Lana about questions. That was this episode, not the last one, but still, they talk about it, and he goes like, how can you help this if you can't even control your own marriage? And then she snaps and like goes off on him, and I was like, oh my gosh, which is awesome. I like to see that. Not, I don't want to say angry side of Lana, but that, like, don't you talk to me that way kind of, it's a little bit different than what we've seen.
No, I think Lana kind of gets played as a little bit buttoned up and to herself. And that kind of training session with Kyle in many ways is sort of like her opportunity to vent and tell him exactly how he feels. I think it's also a healing moment for them too. His last question to her was, do you think you'll ever forgive your husband? Right.
And she doesn't know.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no, maybe she doesn't say that, I don't think, but like, you can tell she's not sure.
Right.
I was thinking of when Sarah asked, are you going to get divorced? Or somebody asked if there's going to be a divorce. She said, I don't know, maybe. Or maybe Kyle asked her. I can't remember. Yeah. She's unsure of what to even say because it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. I thought it was kind of weird when Sarah asked Jordan to hang out with the girl that she cheated on him with, basically.
Yeah, I know that was a little bit. It was a little bit weird. I can understand it being awkward for Jordan.
Yeah.
To kind of to go through that. At the same time, I think that I think that Sarah has found herself in a difficult place. Who does she turn to? Jordan doesn't really understand what it's like having parents that are, going through a separation and possible divorce. For all the challenges that that his parents have dealt with about his father being Superman and everything else. He's never had to doubt whether his parents loved each other. But here Sarah finds
Right.
herself in a situation and she feels like she's all alone. And it just happens that the girl that she kissed at summer camp has also kind of dealt with the same things.
To Naomi.
Right.
Our first crossover. Sort of.
Now that would be hilarious. And then we would get all 5 of her friends showing up there as well.
And this reminds me of a line from King of the Hill. I don't know why. But Dale comes out. He's like, "This neighborhood's turning into Melrose Place," and then it's that kind of
Right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look, King
So-
of the Hill.
I know. I mean, I part of me wishes that Jordan had shown up though, to be there. I think that
How's it
it
going?
would've-
Square Table Degenerates podcast.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah, thanks for watching.
welcome.
Subscribe right now or be cursed.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Not that. But no, I feel like Sarah doesn't know what she wants.
Yeah, I think she's kind of
I mean-
holding this girl as like, oh, she's just my friend. But in the back of her mind, like, she wants to keep her close for a reason.
Yeah. I think it's hard.
Yeah, it's a kind of like a contingency thing or something, or like, like a backup or something like that in case.
Yeah.
I think we can all relate to that in a way, or, like I've had situations, not where I was dating 2 people at once, but when I was like, just kind of like chatting and flirting, I was like, okay, who am I going to pick? Not that I ever have that many options. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, yeah. But I mean, it's, if you're talking to like a few different people, getting to know people, it's like,
Right.
oh man, you have that idea in your head of like, not that I would string one along and like get until like the favorite one pops up, but
If
I get it.
If Sarah wasn't already in a relationship, then it wouldn't be a big deal being friends with Jordan,
Right.
and then still being in communication with this girl from summer camp. Right? There would be no conflict, but for whatever reason, she's holding on to Jordan, even though their relationship has not been what I would say very good. They seem really, really distant.
I think she's lucky that he's still kind of hanging around after
Right.
finding out this, because he was like the good boy. It kind of reminds me of, not me directly, but those when you're young and it's like, okay, you're dating this girl or talking to this girl and she ends up choosing someone else over you, and then you go, oh my god, I feel so worthless. I did all the right things. What happened? And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll give it another shot. But like, let's go hang out with this person. And it's like, you're making it all about that person again. Like, stop it. I don't know. I kind of want to punch her in the face. Like, stop it.
Yeah, part of me says, good job, Sarah, for not keeping a lie.
Corey knows.
Right. I mean, Corey, I realize you're like fighting those girls off with a stick. But
Or ninja weapons.
Right, or ninja weapons, absolutely. But no, I feel like Sarah's she's in a tough spot. I think between the relationship she should be in and the relationship she wants. And that's a tough place to be. And I think Jordan knows that there's a reason why she's brought this other girl back into her life.
Mm-hmm.
My heart really broke for him because there was that moment where he rushes to his brother's. He was his brother's hero. He finally covered his face with a hood, knocked the crud out of that other guy, out of that drug dealer, and came to his rescue. And there's that moment where he's like standing off across the street, looking in the window. He looks at his knuckles and sees the blood, and he's like, "There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to go into this dinner looking this."
I get why he ran and why he didn't go in, but he could have easily been like, "Yeah, this guy was picking on John, and I just like we all got into a fight. You got a Band-Aid?" Like, boom. Like he could have made something up on the fly like that, and that she would have believed it.
Right.
But still, it was like I think he was looking for a reason not to go along with that dinner.
Right.
And that was like, okay, boom, yes, this is my way out.
he wasn't looking forward to it. However, I feel like that was kind of a missed opportunity. If there was a chance for him to fight for his relationship, that was probably it.
Yeah, like, look, you get away from my girlfriend or see what I did to this other guy, you're next. Like, maybe not quite that far, but I love that. I'm glad we're talking about that because I keep talking about Smallville every time we talk about the show, but it had that Smallville vibe where, like, he's got to, like, hide in the distance, and it kind of reminds you of Arrow. He's wearing the hood, and that whole, like, secret identity thing with one of the kids, and I'm like, oh, are they really gonna do the Smallville thing again? Like, which in a good way, I'm excited because, like, is he gonna start saving people and like, oh, let's stop the cow from getting hit by a bale of hay. Let's do these, small time town save things while Superman runs off and tries to fight Bizarros and stuff like that. He's gonna be the one to be there to help the old lady not, miss her mailbox or something. I don't know.
I think what was really obvious to me though was that the time that he spent training with his grandfather has really paid off.
Oh yeah, he sped in there. Like, you leave them alone. I'm surprised he didn't have a voice modulator. Like, leave them alone. Yeah, but I mean,
well, this is sort of like the 1.0 version of Jordan. So I kind of forgive him for his lack of tech. That said, I think we realize if he's going to go out there and fight, he's going to need to have gloves, and maybe he needs to have some kind of like protective uniform or something.
cool.
I know, crazy.
That link. And then he says he's a dark curly blur. I mean, that's what's going to be his name in the show. He's like, oh, you're the dark curly blur. It makes you wonder though if Superboy does become a thing and Jonathan becomes Superboy and he's the dark curly blur. What, they're gonna have two heroes? It's gonna be like Flash, where like the kids are like super powered and helping the day, and all this, and that would be interesting. Or maybe they'll clash again and be like, oh, I'm more powerful than you. No, I am, and then, I don't know. Or then there's still that running theory that they're two halves of the same person. And if that happens, will they eventually merge, or will they not? Because
you had to say that, didn't you?
Yeah,
you had to say. So we are literally, we have this place where you become your true self, where you ascend. How messed up would it be if Jordan and Jonathan end up becoming one person, like they were supposed to be?
That would be interesting. Because that's the running theory. I'm sure other people have thought about that, but we discussed this with Chloe and Misty from Great Geeks.
I know.
And
wouldn't that be? I'm sorry. I've gotten to really love both actors.
Yeah.
And I would hate to lose either of them.
Yeah.
But we know comic book wise that there's only one son, right? And it's Jonathan. Right. He's the only comic accurate one. But I like what they've done with Jordan. I'd hate to be right on this one.
Now, Corey brings up, like, would it be kind of like Firestorm, where they just, like, and then, like, form into the same person to fight crime, and then they, like, kind of separate. I don't think they'd go that far. My theory, I have a new theory now. I mean, I didn't even know what I did there. I realized that I said merge. I'm like, and I even did the thing. And I think what might happen is that the two human beings will still be separate people and one won't disappear, but all the powers will merge into one where he'll become the full Kryptonian, but they're both going to be human people.
With our powers combined, I am... Yeah.
Earth, wind, water, fire.
Heart.
Oh, yeah, heart. I forget. That kid that was heart. It's like all these other badass elements. Heart. Right. I used to have the toy ring.
Oh, you did?
Toy. Yeah, and
oh my gosh,
the little door opened and you could put the different little emblems in it, and you press the button and it lit up, and it was so cool.
Wow, you are next level geek, Steven.
I had that when I was a kid. I need to track one of those down and get it again. Of course, it wouldn't fit even my pinky now, probably, because it's made for a child's finger. But yeah, I think they're gonna merge, but only in power. I don't think the humans are going to merge together and become one human being. I just think that, maybe all of Jordan's powers will leave him and go into what would his name be? What was Superboy's crypt? Did he ever get What am I trying to say? Was he ever given a Kryptonian name, or was he just John?
Wasn't it Jor-El or?
I don't know. Was it John L? I don't know.
John L.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Does anybody know?
I don't know. I'm sure somebody will let us know what it is.
But he'll become that, and then they'll
It
still
sounds-
be.
It
They'll
sounds
still be
very.
the other kid.
It sounds very Googleable.
I just don't think they're gonna take these two kids, build them up for 2 years, only to erase one of them. Like, why would you even have two kids anyway?
You mean like why would John Diggle have a daughter and then a son and then twins?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that just unfortunately that sounds very Arrowverse-y to me.
But then again, though, his baby Sarah wasn't really important to the continuity of the show or anything. So
if you're making the argument that they would never change one child for another, it seems like they do that. Connell?
Con-El, yeah. I think that does sound right.
Okay. See, I knew that somebody would have the answer.
Yeah, or was Con-El, was that the clone Superboy between Clark and Lex? Because I know there was another version of it, and that's the version they had in Smallville, where it was like half Lex Luthor DNA, half Clark Kent DNA, and they mashed them together.
So that would be the Connor from.
Yeah, well, the Connor from Titans as well.
Titans, yeah.
But they're both Superboy, so I don't know. I don't know the versions of it.
Yeah,
and,
I think they need to get like a new title or something.
Yeah, like Super Teen, or I don't know that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I just don't think they're going to erase one character, like not a very serious, important character.
I know.
It's possible.
I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I just. Sometimes I just get a bad feeling about this.
I mean, they need to kill Kyle if they're going to kill anybody.
Right. He should be at the front of the line at least.
I think there's still redemption for him, though.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, not much, but there's a chance.
We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. I think the one thing we still need to talk about is Clark and Lois as parents. I think that's something that we've seen here. You know, Jonathan has gotten himself in trouble, and it's something that he really hasn't.
Yeah.
I think maybe for the first time in his life, where he's refused to tell the truth, that he's gotten himself expelled from school, and he's doing drugs.
Okay, it was John L. in the
John
comics.
L. Okay.
But
they clearly are. Yeah.
So yeah, he does get in trouble, and then later on, I didn't want to interrupt that, but like he gets the football season canceled because they're really mad at him. They're like, John, you better stop it right now. But this is the first time he's done anything crazy like that, like such a big leap from. What did he do? What did he do before that got her mad at him? Well, when he goes into John Henry Irons' trailer and almost dies. That was I love that scene.
It was fantastic, and I think we've certainly seen the range of Bitsie Tulloch as Lois Lane. I mean, I think that if you had any reservations about her from what we had seen during the crossovers and their some of their interactions in Supergirl, having her on her own show and just making her a real person, with real dynamic feelings, I think that's something that that really is on full display here. That said, I really do feel that both Clark and Lois are at a loss. Their lives are about as complicated as they possibly can be. They don't have time for Jonathan to be doing something stupid.
Right. They don't. And then the funny thing, my little voice assistant thingy popped up on my computer again, is it thought we were asking it a question, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And wow. I'm trying to, there we go. I closed it. It heard me saying what I just said and typed it out in the little box. And I'm like, okay, got to close. I didn't want it to start Googling weird stuff. Where was I there? Oh yeah, they punished them both. They punished both kids. I was like, what did Jordan do? He didn't do anything wrong. But he knows, and they know he knows, and they know he's not telling on his brother. But their punishment isn't that bad. You have to work at a convenience store. Like, I've done that for years. I mean, like, I buy choice. Like, I'm not That's their punishment. They just got to get a job. That's it. Didn't seem so bad.
Well, he gets expelled from school.
That is true. That's a downside.
And so that's it. He gets expelled from school. You know, I mean, apparently he still gets to see his girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we could probably say that Clark and Lois, they may talk a good game, but they're not exactly disciplinarians.
They're really not. I mean, like their biggest punishment on him is get a job, and it's like, dude, I would take away his TV.
Right.
I would take away his index finger. I don't know, maybe not that severe, but I mean, you definitely could do more than just get a job.
They're certainly go to the corner and think about what you did, parents.
Yeah.
They're not go into the yard and get a switch, parents.
Or go out and plow the cornfields all by yourself.
Right.
Or whatever, you know, like they have a farm. They could literally make them work at the farm, and then I don't know if their farm is operational, though. I don't think it is. I think they just live on the land.
Well, no, I mean, one of the early episodes was Clark saying, I'm going to show you how to operate the tractor.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I think the intent is for it to be a fully functional, operational farm.
Because that sounds like a good punishment there. Like work the fields or whatever instead of go work at this convenience.
You want to sell drugs? Fine. You get to go work the field.
Then he just sells the drugs in the field. I mean, great cover. Cornfields are tall. Like nobody knows.
Right. What are you guys actually farming there in Kansas? We're farming marijuana.
Yeah, I mean that's the new version of XK. The XK 420. I don't know.
So what's hilarious? This is totally unrelated, but it is hilarious. So my parents live in literally the middle of nowhere, out in the desert, about 2 hours from us here toward Vegas. My dad chose that spot because he didn't want to be anywhere near his neighbors, right? So for they've been there for a while, just about 2 decades, and they've always been surrounded by fields, right? Generally, they've always been alfalfa field here, and I mean, nobody comes by to say hello because if anybody comes down their road, they're probably lost. But recently, a lot of the fields around them have been sold, and they've been bought by marijuana growers.
Oh, wow.
And so now on the right and behind them, they've got these big, giant, marijuana fields. So you never know. That could be the new family business.
Yeah, and then I'm thinking of Cheech and Chong again, which we're gonna be talking about coming up in May too. I'm excited for that. It's something different we haven't really covered. But yeah, I started thinking about like the mail. Like, do they get mail by carrier pigeon, or like this? Like, I don't know. Do they have a horse and buggy? I don't know. Is it like really far out from anything, like, or is it like kind of close to like stores and things like that? Or
no, I mean you've got a 20-mile drive to get to the nearest city.
Wow, that's crazy.
They've got a gas station and they've got a convenience store, but that's about it. So
that's pretty funny. It's like you could smell it when they burn the stalks in low grade. So I guess now that if anybody knew exactly where that was, I could just go like camp out somewhere and be like, and just breathe in really heavily. I don't know.
Right. So anyway, long story short, my parents are not crazy about their new neighbors.
Yeah.
Though I did say, most neighbors you can go over and ask to borrow a cup of sugar.
Yeah.
You never know what you could borrow from these guys. So
yeah, never know.
I know. That's a completely different show. But what do we have left to talk about? I feel like we didn't talk about John Henry Irons and Natalie. That's been something.
It's kind of the only thing left out of these 2 episodes we haven't covered, actually.
I had thought that things were good between them. After their big blowout, that Natalie and Lois had sort of been on the same page. But Natalie clearly has this still unresolved issue with Clark.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of like hates him this whole time.
Yeah.
And she knows he's not the same guy, but still.
I think that it makes sense.
Yeah,
The
it does.
idea that she would just, automatically get over it, with a snap of the fingers, I guess, that's not so realistic.
No.
So I do think but at the same time, um, it is. I guess it's sad because we know that Superman and John Henry Irons have been working together for a while.
Hmm.
Um, you know, there was that funny scene though at the end of the episode where Clark gives them the keys to this place,
Yeah.
and in my head I was thinking, oh, this is going to be at least a decent house for them to live in, and they go there and it's essentially a garage.
Yeah, it's like a warehouse garage type thing. The interesting thing I thought about that was like, first of all, yeah, it's a weird, like you think it's gonna be a nice house or at least a decent house, but yeah, it's like a garage. It kind of reminded me of Naomi again, that little area where she's training and stuff. But I'm wondering, he said a good friend of his used to have it or still owns it or something, has been out of town for a while, whatever. I'm thinking, who is his friend? That's what they don't say who it is. I'm like, is this going to be like another like Smallville like version or a version of a Smallville character? Like it's Pete Ross's house or whatever,
Right.
or somebody like that. I'm thinking it's going to be somebody because he just
I
has
know.
this random empty house all this time. He could have been like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of this a year ago?
Right. I do think though that it is essentially it's a garage, it's a workshop.
Is it
It's
Pat
a
Dugan's garage?
maybe.
Wow,
I know. Amazing.
wow, that's terrible.
You
Maybe
got to
it was
keep
before.
you got to keep working on it. But I think we know that that's something both Natalie and John that they have an affinity for
Yeah,
is building and construction. And so this really could end up being, their official workhouse or their kind of their place to go and, build stuff.
hmm,
And they do need to have the opportunity to, build a life of their own, um, but still be
yeah,
close enough to Lois and the family, um, that they can still interact.
exactly. And I think they're going to accidentally discover something big in that garage house. They're going to work on something and go, oh my gosh, we just invented. It's going to be a DeLorean, and then there's going to be. No, I don't know exactly what, but I think they're going to come up with some kind of big discovery, or it could be Pat Dugan's old shop. That's for sure. That's where he built, or where he made the plans to build the big robot and stuff. Yeah,
I
I'm
gotta,
excited
yeah, I am
for
too.
where it's going, like the whole show.
I know. I think that they've done a good job of, you know, leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for us about where things are going without making it really obvious. We don't know whether the people that had ascended and crossed over to the Bizarro world, whether they survived or not.
I
Right?
don't know.
We
I'm
really
starting to
don't
think
know.
that they. I'm starting to think that they did die, and maybe this is like Allie's way of manipulating everybody to thinking, making them think she wanted to ascend, but she just like laid out this whole plan just to trick them so she could survive and kill all these other people. Like, how dare you stop me? Ha ha ha! It worked. That kind of thing. Maybe that's her plot to kill everybody. I don't know. Or maybe Doomsday comes out of that portal and like slices her face off. That'd be pretty awesome.
It would be pretty awesome. I think what we do know is that we're going to see a lot more action on the other side coming up here soon.
And that's a good, interesting thing here. As without a pennant, they need a vessel to go over to Bizarro World. So that's an interesting way to look at it.
If only they had some type of escape pod that is able to travel through portals.
Yeah, maybe that's what they build in the new garage house. Escape portals.
I mean, you think about how did Natalie end up making it from her world to ours, or to Earth Prime?
I mean, she almost didn't, because we did see that the scene that we never saw, which is what happened about a year ago when she first set off to find her dad, and the computer's like, "Look, you're gonna die. Like, do it anyway." Okay, and then she survived, but still, she almost didn't make it. So,
Right.
I think they might try to perfect that technology or perfect those pods or ships or whatever. And
So I mean, it really is. I mean, you think about it. How many seasons was it where with Vibe's ability to go and open portals, they could just pop back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going over to Earth, Earth 1 for ice cream, right? I mean, it almost became ridiculous how easy it was for them to go back and forth between Earths.
And Barry literally made these remotes that you could just go. And then, whoops, I showed his comment again. But yeah, you could push a button and go. He gave one to Supergirl. He gave one to like everybody he met.
Well, and so it does seem to me, that the technology should still exist.
Yeah, you would
be able to do it. Vibe's not dead.
No, but I don't think he's Vibe anymore. I mean, I think his powers are gone. I think. All right. I mean, because I know he got him back in Crisis, but I think they went away.
Yeah, but even didn't they even make technology that was able to open up the portals?
Yeah, they did. They had those little buttons that they could just press, and it would open a thing. But I think after Crisis, they don't think that technology could happen or could be used anymore because the new vibrational pattern of Earth Prime is different than Earth 1 and all this and that.
Here's what I really do believe is between Natalie going through the portal that John did, between the portal that's opened up with the Bizarro world, and John Diggle making his cameo and learning about the existence of other worlds. I really do think that at some point and the fact that he made his rounds to all the other shows, that at some point he had let them know that alternate worlds still exist.
That's what you would think, but then, well, maybe it could still have done that with Superman, but when they talked about Superman, he's like, when playing Superman, he basically said that he has no knowledge of pre-Crisis. That they didn't say that officially, but from in his point of view, that Clark doesn't know what happened before Crisis. His life has always been this. But everybody else knows what happened before and after Crisis. Like, why is Superman the one guy that doesn't? Well, his whole family, but why? I'm like, that's got to build to something.
Right.
Like, why would you not let him know what happened before Crisis? Like, haha, Jordan, you didn't exist 10 minutes ago, but now you are 15. I don't know.
Well, like we talked about that before. How jacked up would that be if they had revealed that Jonathan was supposed to be an only child, not a twin, and that Jordan was never supposed to exist? I mean, you thought that kid had emotional problems before.
And maybe that's where they come from. Maybe somewhere in his brain, he doesn't realize what it is, but his brain is telling his body that you don't exist. And so he's like trying to cope with it.
Right. We know the drama that caused for Barry when John Diggle and his wife had found out that his messing with time and creating Flashpoint had changed the gender of their daughter. So,
and yes, Corey, she does know, and that's what makes me even more mad. It's like, how can Supergirl know about all this, but her cousin, who she's supposed to be really close with, somehow doesn't know any of it?
I'm sure that they text and FaceTime though.
You would think, but somehow he still doesn't know. Like, maybe she's like,
I have to say that just a little commentary, going back to early episodes of Supergirl, where the only contact that Kara had with Clark was via text message. I had to just laugh. The idea that Superman texts,
And that's the thing too, like, because that history still happened. That's before Lois was ever pregnant at all. So that's still canon. Like, they still texted. But in the new continuity of Superman and Lois, then both of those kids would have been teenagers at the time they were texting with each other. But yet she still doesn't know about the kids. Nobody else does. Or maybe they do, and we just assume that they don't because we haven't seen them interact again. So I'm sure maybe all these other characters know that these two kids exist now. But just Superman doesn't know.
You would think, though, of all the people to cross over with, especially now with them on the same Earth, that having Kara pop in at least once.
Yeah.
And saying, I like what you're doing with the farm. Or, Aunt Kara. But
wow. So now Superman Snapchats and has an OnlyFans.
Right. There we go.
Maybe OnlyFans might be a little out there, but it's possible.
Right. I don't know. Maybe Superman, he's it's his side hustle.
Maybe Kira's the one with the OnlyFans.
Oh.
And that's why she's not on the air anymore, because it's not appropriate. No, I don't know. But yeah, with that show ending, I thought maybe there would be at least one moment of her. I know she wanted to do other stuff, and they had other reasons for ending the show or whatever. And that show was great for what it was. It didn't really need to be on for another 6 years or anything crazy like that. It got a good 5-6 seasons, whatever it was.
I know. I think what's heartbreaking to me is that we really enjoy these characters and the actors that portray them, and I think we said goodbye to a lot of shows. Right, yeah. Like we said goodbye to Black Lightning, we said goodbye to Supergirl.
Yep.
And then right now, kind of the fate of Legends and Batwoman are kind of up in the air right now too. And then we had said goodbye to Arrow. There's a lot of shows have left, and I had hoped that maybe we might end up seeing some of those characters pop up again.
Yeah, and even if Legends stays, even the newer Legends are starting to leave the team.
Yeah.
So it's like, because the last the season finale had was it the finale or was that a season finale? I think it was.
Yeah, I believe so.
Nate leaves, he goes to live in the totem or whatever, and that was that actor's way of leaving the show. Why? All these people are leaving Legends. You have to either bring in some more people instead of pulling these obscure characters like, this is John Smith. He's got the ability to tie his shoes very well. He's a legend. Like, you're going to have to pull these other characters into it. Like Booster Gold, they're introducing a little bit, but still, they're going to have to start doing more stuff to keep that show going. If there
really are enough characters out there that I'm sure actors who would love an opportunity to keep playing these characters. I had thought that was sort of it was supposed to be the home for misfits a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like a Suicide Squad, but not villains.
Yeah, and not getting your head blown off.
Yeah, I mean, some of them may have gotten their head. Actually, a couple of them did probably, but yeah, I don't know. And I like the story of the first season. I need to go back and watch the first season again. I haven't seen it in a long time, but the whole thing, like, all of you are very insignificant as far as historical, like, documentations, and you don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So the misfits that don't really have a historical impact, put them on the team. There's several of those, though. There's tons of people like that.
Oh, yeah.
In the show.
Yeah.
So many DC characters. Like Booster Gold is one of those, probably, because he's from the future anyway. So even if they do have historical whatever, then him being in the past wouldn't really affect anything, because they could just fix it. So they could take anybody they wanted, really. They could put Superman on the Legends if they wanted to. But why don't they do it?
I know. It's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, there's several.
I know. Well, I feel like we've just about run out of things to say
for
tonight.
How many seasons did 90s Flash get? Stupid X-Files.
Yeah, 90s Flash with John Wesley Shipp got one season.
Yeah, one.
Can you believe that?
I need to go back and rewatch that again. I've seen bits and pieces lately.
Who was the genius that only gave John Wesley Shipp's Flash one season?
I mean, you had Mark Hamill in that show, and John Wesley Shipp, but still, I mean, if that show came out today, well, I don't think it would have existed today because other Flashes. But still, if that's a big show, like one season, really?
Yeah, it was well written, well cast,
I think they were way ahead of their time. Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Corey is giving. Oh my god, this just weird portal link thing. That's like if I reach over, you're gonna see my hand come out. No, not that weird. Oh, I was like, whoa. Oh, wow.
I know. I can't do it. It's weird because it's all backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards. If you use the left, it's like that's the left, that's the right. Plus, I'm still used to being on the left-hand side of the screen.
I know.
Which I don't know. But yeah, that was a good show. I need to go back and watch it again. Oh crap, a hand. Oh wow! So apparently my hand appeared in front of Corey. So
Yeah, clearly you opened up a portal.
whoops, didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
No, yeah,
that
was
a little
me.
weird.
That was me.
Oh, whoops. High five.
All right. I feel like we need to remind people that are watching us here tonight. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you guys go and hit that subscribe button. We want to thank everybody that's joined us here live tonight and hung with us here to the end. If you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment for us, so we know that you're there and that you've been watching. And tell us what you think or what you'd like us to talk about next.
And don't forget, tell everybody that live Sunday, May 1st, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific here at Between the Pond and the Hard Place on Facebook, Twitter. Well, not Twitter. Oh, we'll tweet about it, but we're not going to broadcast on Twitter. Need to find out how to do that, though. YouTube, all that stuff. Flash owner Erik Walsh is coming on, and I'm very, very, very excited about that.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be wonderful. I'm going to try to trick him into spoiling something. You know, we couldn't get Jordan Elsass to trick us. We tried to get him to trick us, and he just wouldn't do it. No, we couldn't trick him, so we'll see if we can trick Erik Walsh.
I think we've had a little bit more practice though since then. So
a little bit.
We'll be on the ball. We'll have our questions ready to go. I think it's gonna be great.
Yes, it's gonna be very nice. All right, yeah, that's pretty much it for this week.
All right.
Yeah, just check us out on everything. Follow us, like us. All that stuff. If you don't, then well, whatever, fine.
Then you suck.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah.
And I'll find out how to curse you, and I'll just.
What is it with you and cursing?
I don't know. It seems
like you. I think you cursed people at the end of the last episode too.
I did. I don't know. I think I saw somebody on YouTube say that, and I'm like, I'm going to be cursing people. I don't know. Just some different things to be trying to be funny. I mean, it will be successful probably, but maybe one day. Yeah. Not one day. I don't want to curse people. Like really, I just thought it was funny.
Stephen, thank God that you're not the mystic master of the dark arts or something.
Yeah, but see, I throw people off because I'm wearing a white shirt instead of a black one.
Right, and I'm wearing the black one.
See, that's like, oh wow, I didn't even notice that. I'm like white and black. Whoa. You know, if we just take this picture and put it all over a bunch of times, it could be a checkerboard. Yeah, I don't know.
Like an Oreo cookie.
And now we're gonna have a meme tomorrow that Corey's gonna make probably with a bunch of us, just this image, but multiplied 20 million times. Oh,
you're giving him ideas now.
I know. At least we're not women, so that's good.
Yeah,
that probably will still come though.
Yeah.
If you could put picture comments on these live streams, he probably would have done that. But yeah, check us out. We're going to be back on. This week's going to be a little bit different too. As I mentioned, we haven't talked about it on the air, but I'm going to be watching the WWE WrestleMania this weekend, coming up a week from now, and it's on Saturday and Sunday night. So we'll probably push that show again, like we did this past week. We'll have a Friday show. I think we discussed that. I think that we said Friday.
Yeah.
Friday. So that'll be April, whatever day that is. I think the 2nd is on Saturday, or is it
April?
The 1st on Saturday?
So April 1st.
April 1st will be
Friday.
Yes, and so I was thinking the next week. Yeah, we're gonna do it Friday before the normal Sunday.
Yeah. So we're gonna have it on. We're gonna have it on April Fool's Day.
Yeah. The trick is we're not gonna be on. No, we're gonna be on April 1st. We got to think of some fun stuff to do though. Maybe come up with some fake facts to see which one's the truth or which one's a fool.
That would be fun.
Something like that. Yeah, we can come up with a fun game between now and Friday, I think. All right. Well, thanks everybody again for watching.
Yeah.
And we'll see you on Friday at the same time. Live.
Have a good night.
All right. See you. Take care.